This episode of Talkin' About Rock is sponsored by Unleashed Music. Drawing on years of experience, contacts, and partnerships, Unleashed Music is uniquely positioned to platform, develop, and realize the vision of artists of all genres. Achieve your goals by partnering with Unleashed Music and take advantage of their decades of experience to help you create and execute your marketing campaign. Visit unleashedmusic.com for more info.
On this episode of Talking About Rock, Rozzik. Talking About Rock, sponsored by School of Rock, North Buffalo, where they're making musicians every day. Hello and welcome to this episode of Talking About Rock. I'm Rob Edwards. Here we bring you rock interviews from veteran and upcoming artists. Subscribe on our YouTube channel to stay up to date. Follow us on our social media and our website, talkingaboutrock.com. Today's guest is a theatrical rock artist. He emerged in 2016 to show the world that rock is still very much alive. He just released the new single and music video for The Dollar. Let's welcome back the bastard child in New York City, Rozzik.
Man, that's an intro.
How are you doing, Cor?
I'm okay, dude. I'm just dealing with the trials and tribulations of life and the industry and the struggle of algorithms and politics.
Tell me about it. I hear that.
Yeah, so much is going on right now. It's definitely a trying time for myself, Rozzik.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a while since we chatted. I think since I seen you at your last show, it's been a while, man. So catch us up. You put some new stuff together here, and I think you were working with a new engineer here, also for the new album, also, right? Or the new song.
Yeah, this has been a relationship that has been kind of ever growing. It's been like kind of building over time, and that's the production team at SoundMind Studios, most specifically Dan Mulch, who is a Grammy nominated engineer, most known for his recent work with Ghost, and Avenged Sevenfold and Gojira. So he's worked with a lot of modern metal heavy hitters. And I started working with Dan about a year ago. We were going to do a remix on an old song, which we did, but we never put it out just because as time went on, there was just, it's so difficult when you're an independent artist, especially coming out of COVID. It's funny. I do a lot of smoke and mirrors on stage, but I don't do a lot of smoke and mirrors in my interviews. I'm usually pretty brutally honest, and I hope that makes people want to actually watch the interviews. I've never been quiet about the struggles that Rozzik has had. I think Rozzik, coming out of the New York City scene, we did a lot of cool stuff that some of our peers didn't. And I suppose I can, pat myself on the back for all that and stuff. But as far as making it to the big time, as they might say, it's been a lot of ups and downs. And coming out of COVID, we came out of our record deal with Cleopatra. There was a lot of promise there that never really followed through, and we were kind of in limbo. And then we got very fortunate to get on the Ace Frehley train, and we were consistently touring with Ace for about a year and a half. And it was the greatest experience and the greatest opportunity we ever had. We got to live like rock stars and play theaters and casinos every month. And I would show up backstage and there would be my mineral water and my gummy bears. So I knew I had arrived, and
no brown M&Ms on your ride or nothing like that.
Nah, we had peanut M&Ms, but we didn't specify any colors or anything like that. So we got to really live that whole rock star lifestyle, and it was great, and through that there was a lot of unfortunate lineup changes where sometimes personalities didn't mesh. I had some health issues that came up, and when it rains it pours, you know what I mean? So it was just one of those situations, but we kept treading on, but through all those changes, the band still wasn't really coming together to help me foresee my vision of what I wanted to do. So coming out of the Ace gig, a couple of months ago, I kind of realized that the band was becoming complacent. Things weren't getting done. I felt like I wasn't able to make decisions on things because I was trying to make it a democracy and make it a true band setting, which as I realize now, most fans did see it as a band. They didn't just see it as myself, which is a struggle that I'm working on right now. Which I understand it. People get emotionally attached to people that they see on a consistent basis, especially we've always been a very hands-on band. So we were always very, personal with the fans. So I can understand fans taking a liking to some of the band members, and why wouldn't they? All the guys in the band were great. Everybody I worked with, for the most part, we always did get along. But just because you get along as brothers or on the road doesn't necessarily mean that segues into getting things done, whether it's finishing songs or promoting or,
Right.
especially as an independent band, you need investments, whether it comes from an outside source or an inside source. So there was a lot of these other factors that had reached the head where, um, over the summer, I realized that it was time for a change. And I essentially, you could use the word fired, you could use peacefully dismissed, whatever you want to use it. But I basically told my band as it was that I wasn't going to be doing this anymore with them, that I wasn't happy. And being that I had a unique opportunity to work with Dan and his production team, I just thought I needed to go in a different direction. So that's basically what I did. And it's been very exciting. But it's not easy because, again, a lot of fans have become emotionally attached to what they may have foreseen the Rozzik band to be. And now that is obviously changing. So there's been a little bit of critique from some of the fans, but I'm hoping in time they'll see that Korosik will live on, and that it'll be for the best in time.
Yeah,
So
definitely. And you've definitely been moving forward here. The new video looks really cool. And I guess you shot this in an abandoned bank, which is really cool. Tell us a little bit about that. That sounds awesome.
yeah, that was really cool. I have some, ties to the Pittsburgh scene, and even though I'm not from Pittsburgh, and I had this unique opportunity to have access to an abandoned bank. And ironically, I knew about this place for quite some time, but I didn't really think much of it because at the time in my head, I was like, well, to get the whole band to go out there, it's going to be a whole thing. So
Right.
we'll have to just figure something out more local to New York or whatever. But I had done a test shoot there just for fun, and I thought it looked cool. And when I spoke to my marketing team, who also did my music video, and I showed them those shots, they were just like, "Yo, man," they were like, that location is just too money to like not use. And they're from Boston, and they were willing to drive from Boston to Pittsburgh to meet me down there to do it. So it's kind of this very like unfortunate, ironic thing that with me kind of saying goodbye to the band as I was actually able to just go down there and do this cool video with my crew on one day. I did a 14-hour one day, and just got it done. Whereas with the band, there would have been a lot of moving variables, and we probably wouldn't have been able to really pull it off. So it was ironic that when the team had suggested me doing this, that basically I was saying goodbye to that band. So I was able to kind of put it together very quickly once I didn't have to worry about certain variables. But I think it came out great. And it's funny that we're filming this right now in real time, because now I can also talk about more dumb politics, that the video was doing well respectively, but realistically, in this modern day age, it's all about algorithms, and it's all about ads. Whether you're a small band or a big band, everybody has to do paid marketing to push your product forward. It's just the reality. I don't know whether people
Right.
realize that or not, but that's just the truth. And I just made a post today. If you haven't seen the video much, it's because YouTube basically flagged us because there's shots of me with the bloody hand, which is really the blood money. YouTube has flagged that. So now the video that is now going to be known as the director's cut. And later this week, we're putting out a more tame version, which will then get the full promotion and marketing
Uh,
that the video should have gotten from Jump Street, which is really like sad because I'm trying to do something where people can see now with the new music that there is some substance behind it, that there's a bigger message. But I'm also trying to toe that line between not being like too offensive or edgy, but still a little edgy. And the littlest thing of having a bloody hand was flagged by YouTube. It's like I'm not beating anybody up, I'm not killing
right.
anybody,
Right.
and it got flagged. So that's been another like annoying thing that I've been dealing with for the past like week. Some people notice that I seemed a little down on social media this week, and that's why, because we're just trying to put our best foot forward here, and I shouldn't be surprised at this point because like it just seems like that's core Rozzik. I have the best luck and the worst luck at the same time, so I shouldn't be surprised that this would happen to me. But that is a real thing, so that's something that's going to be happening this week. We're going to have a new version of the dollar to put out.
Okay, well, we're going to play the current version of it, and YouTube be damned. So we're going to do it anyways. And if we get flagged, we'll just circle back and we'll put the other one on here if that's what we need to do. But
Sure.
let's take a quick break and check out the track and the video for the dollar, and we'll be right back here with Core Rozzik on Talking About Rock. Okay, we're back here on Talking About Rock. Just checked out the video for the dollar. Very cool. We hope we get the
Yeah.
new one also from you eventually. So I was doing some more reading a little bit on you. So you got this new concept you're working on here called the Dead Society. Can you tell our audience a little bit about what that's about?
Yeah, the Dead Society, it's really been a concept that's been many years in the making. I mean, initially it should have had come out during COVID, and I think it would have resonated very well during COVID as well. But just due to many factors, we never got this for it to see the light of day. But now it's finally seeing going into next year, it's finally going to be released. Basically, the Dead Society is the next concept era or concept album for Core Rozzik. The first record was Vengeance Overdrive, and that was a concept record in its own right. And that was just based around Core Rozzik being the outcast from New York City and wanting to be famous and willing to do whatever he could to get fame and fortune and take down his enemies. In this one, it's a little bit more different. It's a more futuristic dystopian world where the Dead Society live in this little place called Rock Hell, and it's basically a sliver of what once was New York City. And there's this opposition government that's trying to shut them down, who are basically anti-music, anti-expression, anti-sexuality, anti-everything. And Core is basically begrudgingly put in this position as basically their leader, anti-hero savior, to try to overthrow the government and live the way they want to live. And he's going forward with it, but he's still very much conflicted because all he ever really wanted to be was just to be a rock star. He didn't want to necessarily be a political figure. So it's this really interesting hodgepodge of like social issues and political issues and division and censorship and expression. It's also a good deep look at, you know, adulthood and growing up and how all of a sudden we have certain responsibilities and that kind of takes away from what we really wanted to do as kids, what our dreams were. So I feel like this record, as theatrical as it is, because that's just how I like to do things, I think it's going to be a much more relatable record. And I think it's going to have a lot more weight to it than the first record. I don't know if that's going to make Cora a more likable character, but I think he'll be a little bit more human in pockets, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I really love the concept idea you got going on behind it. And we know it's a politically charged environment right now, definitely, right?
Yeah,
So many different things going on in the world, in music ever changing, you know what I mean? Definitely I think we've just touched the surface of what's going to change politically,
sure.
which is going to be coming up. But I really like the thoughts on that. Any thoughts maybe of doing some type of comic book or some type of other verbiage around it or anything like that? Maybe the
Yeah, it's funny.
storyline or
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. A lot of people have brought that up from time to time. I mean, it's not something that I don't think it's something that I would personally spearhead. But I suppose if I came in contact with the right person that wanted to do something like that, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I was never a big comic book kid, personally. Um, but there's a lot of metalheads that do like comics, and I've seen a lot of other bands do comics, so why not? I think the thing I really want to do is make an action figure.
right,
That's
right?
on my that's on my bucket list. I'd love
Yeah.
to do like an OG Mistress core, like from the Mistress video with that trench coat and the lead pipe and the white face paint. I feel like that'd be kind of cool, come with little accessories. I think that would be kind of gnarly to do. So I would definitely be down for an action figure more than anything.
Yeah, very, very cool. Awesome, awesome. So I was also seeing you guys got some shows coming up again with Ace. Looks like
Yes.
you're going to be December 27th in Westland, Michigan. I think it shows here that you guys are going to be playing.
Yeah, it's not exactly Detroit Rock City, but it's more or less Detroit, right? I mean, it's northern Detroit, if you will. And we played the Token Lounge multiple times throughout the years with Nita Strauss and with Liliac and just recently with Plush. So it's cool to finally go back there with Ace. We haven't done any shows with Ace in a while. Again, I've been very transparent. It's been a frustrating thing. I've been very verbal about it. Ace did get a brand new booking agent a couple months back, and the way they do business is
Yeah,
very
he
different.
he changed his whole team around. So when we talked to Steve Brown a while back,
Yeah.
they kind of changed the whole team around on what they wanted to do for the new album and kind of almost reinvent this everything behind it a little bit. It did really well for him. But yeah, there's been a lot of changes in his camp.
Yeah, there was a lot of change behind the scene, and we were kind of unceremoniously let go. It wasn't even like a spoken thing. It was just kind of like, no, they have a new agent. They're gonna have him out with, Vixen and everybody else or whatever, and that's it basically. So Now we're at this point where if we're going to do a show at Ace, we have to it has to be the right situation, and there's still a string to pull here and there, but unfortunately, we're really not going to be out every weekend like we used to be with Ace. And that's been disappointing for us. It's been disappointing to the fans. And I've said very seriously, half jokingly to fans, I've been tagging his booking agent, like, go ahead, have at it, because they won't talk to me.
Yeah,
Go talk to, go hit a BTE and request Korazik with Ace. Maybe eventually they'll give in. But it's a 50-50 thing with the Ace thing. It's made me a better performer. It put more eyes on us post pandemic, which was great. It's gotten us to where we are and I am today. No regrets. One of the greatest times of my life. But at the same time, we also do need to, which is scary and it's hard. We do need to move on. We need to find a newer audience, a different demographic, and make our own way. So, I'm hoping to do more shows with Ace, but at the same time, I know we need to do something else too. And that's the big obstacle right now, is kind of finding a new crowd, a new gig, so to speak. So that's just the reality of the business. But I always tell fans, if they really want to dig deep on the internet, it's public knowledge of the booking agent is go ahead, request us. Maybe
right.
they'll do something about it.
Yeah, you guys did a fabulous job when I saw you. I think was it a couple years ago at one of the casinos, I think in Niagara Falls. You
Yeah.
guys were opening for Ace, and everyone I spoke to, they weren't familiar with you, but like this band was great. They loved your show, and so did I. So yeah, definitely hope you to see you do some more dates with that. And like you said, you kind of reinvented yourself at this point. You know what I mean? Going forward. So, new album, next album is that going to be Dead Society? Is that going to be the new album coming out?
Yeah, 100%. And we just released the dollar, and it'll get a slight facelift in the near future. But I just finished recording 3 new tracks. So that's 4 tracks. And hopefully we're going to record a few more early next year, fingers crossed. And so hopefully somewhere along those lines, you'll see us back on the big stage with somebody, and hopefully some sort of a deal will be made, and then we can put out the LP. So next year's kind of a very exciting, interesting question mark.
Right.
I can't say too much, and I don't know too much, but I'm very hopeful that good things will happen. But I know that right now it's kind of like this weird period. We kind of fell from grace off the Ace gig. I said goodbye to my band as it was. Ironically, in the midst of doing that, I was actually able to put a lot of things in motion and go forward with recording stuff a lot quicker and getting the video done. Um, a lot of fans have expressed positive reactions to it, but I think some fans are a little confused just because they've been so used to seeing me with a band behind me or specific faces behind me.
Right.
So that's been a kind of a little of a challenging thing. Um, but again, I chose the dollar as the first song out just to stress that this is a new era because the song is so much different than
Right.
anything we've done before. And it's even more different because there is no band there. But I will tell the fans some of the next songs that will eventually come out, I'm sure you're going to view as classic Korazik that you knew and loved. You're not going to be disappointed. And I'm sure some of those videos will feature at that time eventually what the new band is going to be and look like. So it's not all like me, but at the end of the day, I am Korazik, and I just hope people understand that through all of this, I mean, I was the brainchild of this project. So, even though I respect whoever's been in the band before or whatever, I'm hoping fans will understand that, like, this is my lifeline. This is my life's work. And yeah, it's unfortunate when sometimes band members change. And believe me, like it wasn't an easy decision. I mean, some of those people I've worked with for years, but I just felt it was time to make that change. And sometimes change is not pretty. It's not
Right.
fun. Sometimes it makes you a bad guy. And even for me right now, as much as a lot of great things are happening, I don't think I'm going to see the instant gratification or validation or justification for that change overnight. It's going to take some time for the product to get out there, for fans to get reacclimated. And I think ultimately it's really going to come down to Korazik coming back out with the new band, strong and bigger than better than ever. And then people going, okay, this is great. Okay, cool. So it is an interesting time right now.
Yeah, very, very cool. And we look forward to the rest of your tracks and the new videos for all that. And folks definitely can check out CoreRozzik.com for more info. I know you'll be posting more dates on there soon. Very, very cool, man. All right, well, that wraps up this episode of Talking About Rock. I want to thank today's guest, Cor Rozzik, for being with us. Thanks to our sponsors, School of Rock North Buffalo and Unleash Music. And to all our listeners and viewers, let's keep the torch alive and support live music wherever you are. Cor, again, man, thanks.
Thanks, brother.